Jamie Dimon has hinted at running for office. Bill Ackman made a case for him to run for president in 2024. This is getting a lot of steam all of a sudden. People are talking about it on CNBC, and it's trending on Twitter. On Wednesday, JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon made some comments about potentially running for office in the future. Quote, I love my country, and maybe one day I'll serve my country in one capacity or another. He's 67 years old. You didn't know that. Bill Ackman tweeted his support for Dimon running as a Dem against Biden. Ackman put out a number of compelling points. Dimon is one of the world's most respected business leaders. That's true. Politically centrist, pro-business, pro-free enterprise. All true. Supportive of well-designed social programs and rational tax policies that can help the less fortunate, smart, thoughtful, pragmatic. Knows how to bring opposing parties together. Highly respected by right, left, and center. I think that's also true. Superbly managed JP Morgan through every crisis. Quote, no bullshit, straight talking, charismatic leader with an enormous grasp of the world's issues and how to address them. Chamath, I'll just ask it to you plainly. If you had 3 choices or 4 choices, Trump, DeSantis, Biden, and the Jedi, Jamie Dimon, stack rank those for us. Rank them. Who do you got? Who do you vote for? Those are your 4 choices.
Probably Jamie Dimon 1.
Okay.
DeSantis 2.
Okay.
And Trump and Biden, it's a bit of a tie.
Bit of a tie. Garbage. Okay.
Not garbage. Don't say that, but
okay.
It's a bit of a tie.
I mean, it's 2 people that nobody wants to vote for, it seems, wants to run.
I personally believe that the era of septuagenarians and octogenarians should come to an end in terms of their ability to run this country. I want that transition. Now, Jamie is 67, but he's still much younger than these 2 other guys. And again,
14,
I go back
15 years is a lot.
It's a lot. And vitality, energy.
This matters.
And I think that he is a very competent economic, rational actor. So it would be interesting to see. I mean, look, the reality is, if I had to be really honest with you, I think that what we should do is keep chipping away at the establishment and how they pick candidates. It's going to be a slow process. But I think in 10 or 15 years, the real thing that we should all do is, if there's enough citizen journalism, that we should really just change the Constitution so that we can allow people that have been here for 25 plus years, that have paid all their taxes, that have followed all the rules, to run for president. Oh. And then we could actually we could vote Elon in and just have him clean it up the way he's cleaning up everything else. Honestly, why not just do that? I mean, who would not want that?
Sachs, let me ask you to stack rank, and then we'll get to the change in the Constitution issue, that is a Hail Mary. How would you rank those 4?
I think that we have run out of topics to talk about if Bill Ackman's latest political brain fart is a major topic of conversation.
Brain fart. I think this is inspired. You guys put Trump in office. The GOP put Trump in office. He's the outsider's outsider lunatic. And you can't even consider Jamie Dimon? You're laughing at that, and you put Trump in office? You guys put Trump in office. And you're going to do it again.
I don't know what you mean, you guys. Listen.
The GOP, your political party.
Here's the part about this conversation that sort of makes sense. 2/3 of the country says that they are uninspired and, in fact, fatigued by the idea of having a repeat of the same choice they had 4 years ago. Everybody wants a different choice. So I get this like fantasy basketball drafting thing that we're trying to do here. Okay. The reason why I call it a brain fart, and Bill's a really smart guy. I'm not dragging him, but in order to win the presidency, you have to get the nomination of a major party. And the problem with all this like fantasy drafting is that you're trying to draft people who are anathema to the party that you're trying to get them the nomination from. And Trump was able to get the nomination of the Republican Party. Jamie Dimon would have to get the nomination of the Democratic Party, and that's not going to happen. And it does remind me of Bloomberg. Remember, Bloomberg spent $100 million on his campaign.
Came in late, yeah. Came in way late.
He spent a lot of money, and he made it to the first question of the first debate. And remember what happened? Elizabeth Warren said that this is a billionaire who talks about...
He didn't fight. He lay down. He rolled over.
She ended him with one question, one debate. So my point is that you got to be able to get the nomination of a major party. And actually, I think neither party could nominate a banker right now. I mean, if you saw what happened around the whole banking crisis, that I think is still going on in slow motion. I mean, the amount of animosity both towards the banks that went under and the idea of, potentially bailing them out, and then also the animosity towards JP Morgan when it actually bought First Republic. I mean, both parties have such a strong populist wing in them right now that I think you could never get the head of the number one bank in the U.S. to be their candidate.
You're completely wrong, I think, in this case, respectfully. I mean, he could run as an independent as well. And although, you like to think, or it seems like you're proposing that things are going to be as they always were, Trump shows a wild card, and then people forget Ross Perot. He got 19% of the popular vote. He hit 20 million votes to Bush's 40 million and Clinton's 44. It is not unprecedented, and we are in a really struggling time.
You started this off by saying the Democrats should draft Jamie Dimon. Now you're saying he should run as
that. I'm fine if he runs independent. I don't
Why
care
would
what
he run as
as
an independent? There's no movement to draft the top banker in the country. Like, where do you see this groundswell? There was no movement to put a
reality star like Trump in. Okay, that was the wild card of all wild cards.
He ran in one of the two major parties, and he hit a nerve.
I know
that's my point.
So now
that's what you got to do.
Tell me about Ross Perot. Tell me about Ross Perot, and how did he hit 20 million votes? And isn't the world much different right now because of media, because of people going direct? We're talking, Chamath just proposed Elon. If you're proposing Elon, you're saying people who can go...
I'm proposing a constitutional amendment so that competent people
who are not born in the country. Got it. Yeah.
No, if you've lived here for 25 years or 30 years, you've created hundreds of thousands of jobs and paid tens of billions of taxes. The idea that you are less fit than half these politicians to run for president is insane.
Okay, that's a different question. What do you think about that?
That idea is stupid.
Do you think we should change the Constitution and allow non-nationals to run for president?
Don't stop saying non-nationals. It's so gross. It's like, it's people that weren't necessarily born here. But if you've lived your whole life here, the majority of your life, and you've built value for America and helped it win, all of a sudden you're less capable of being president. That's absolutely not true.
Oh, I didn't say it was. I'm describing what the Constitution says. Somebody who was not born.
This was called the Schwarzenegger Amendment because, when he was governor of California, there were people who wanted him to run for president. Yeah. But look, it's too hard to change the Constitution. It's a very difficult process. So do I think that's going to happen? No.
Would you be in favor of that? And under what circumstances? Do you think that Chamath's saying we should change that? He's emphatic we should change it, in fact. So what do you think?
It's not a pressing issue for me. I'd rather have a balanced budget amendment. I'd rather the president have a line item veto to control spending.
If you want to blow up the government and cut it down to size and impose the ideals of liberalism, true liberalism, free speech, well-controlled borders, but good immigration, et cetera, I feel like there are lots of people who could do that. And the only difference is they were accidentally not born here, except they've created more value in America than most Americans that were born here.
I think the term would actually be foreign-born national would be the most accurate term. They're national
whatever dumb term you want to use.
I'm just using the ones in the Constitution the government uses. Sorry, Chamath, for using accurate terms. I'll try to use less accurate terms in the future. So back to Jamie Dimon.
Nobody here is questioning whether he is a supremely competent executive. Fully grant that he's done an amazing job taking JP Morgan. It was already the biggest. He's made it even bigger.
How is that possible?
Whether that's a good thing.
In the face of them saying we got to stop the banks from getting bigger. He's still made it bigger.
Yeah, whether that's a good thing for the country ultimately is a different question.
Yeah.
No one questions his competence and his expertise. But again, I see no groundswell for him in either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, or even as an independent, because again, it doesn't fit the populist mood of the country right now.
Agreed. Got it. So that's your pragmatic path to victory. But let me ask you about competence then, because maybe I can frame the question and get a better answer out of you.
That's what I thought I was answering when you said who'd be a more competent president.
You guys interpret my questions however you like. You interpret it in terms of competence. Sachs interpreted the question pragmatically to getting into office. Yeah. But let's ask Sachs the question, and I'll ask you pragmatically, and I'll ask Sachs the question of competence. In terms of competence, I gave you 4 people.
Right.
Is he the most competent person to run the country right now?
No,
You think DeSantis is more competent than him?
I think that of all the major candidates who actually have a realistic shot, DeSantis is the most supremely competent as an executive. He's run the state of Florida. He did it during COVID, which was a major crisis.